What's up guys, welcome to the channel. I'm Lewis and today we're going to run through the couple of key little bits we need to look at before we start trying to get into that really nice impact position which you see a lot of the tour players get into. And the reason I say this is because I've had people try to get into that impact position but it just ends up going wrong, and typically the worst shot I see when people try it is they either shank it or they miss it too far to the right, and that's purely because the club face isn't square enough to handle that good impact position. So you may end up looking like something like this, where the club head starts to overtake the hands at the bottom of the swing. In my mind, that's basically a way of squaring the club face, okay? But then that leads to all the other bad shots, like we catch them heavy, we thin them, or worst case scenario we top them. Now, the two things I'm going to ask you to check today before we go into this and some future videos is one, I want you to take a look at your grip, okay? Now, your grip is one of the key influences on how square, open or shut your club face is at strike, okay? Now, my preference is always seeing a stronger grip. Now, you can play with a weak grip, you can play with a strong grip. For example, like Jordan Spieth has a really weak grip, Dustin Johnson has a really strong grip, okay? Both amazing players, so you can make it work. However, my point of view is that there's more benefits to having a stronger grip than there is a weaker grip, okay? For me, when I see someone with a weaker grip, they tend to have a lot of face rotation at strike, and it's a lot on timing about how well they can manage their club face through impact. However, I've always found that the players with a stronger club face, and maybe the draw bias players, tend to flush their irons much more consistently because they can handle having that grip a little bit in front of the ball and therefore have that nice compression down on top of the ball. So what I want you to think about is take a hold of the club, and how many knuckles, from this point of view, how many knuckles can you see on your left hand? I can see 2 or 3 knuckles on my left hand. I've got super skinny wrists as well, which obviously helps. But I can see 2 or 3 knuckles. If you can't see any, or you can only see one, that's classed as a weaker grip, which will tend to mean in your downswing, your club face will be too open, and that's when either you'll start coming over the top more often to try and get the ball started left of your target, or you'll start really rolling your hands through strike in order to square the club face. Hence why you tend to get in positions like this. Okay, that's effectively just your way of squaring. Instead, what I like to try and get is on that left hand, try and see 2 or 3, and that would mean you've got a slightly stronger grip. Okay, and now your next checkpoint, once you've achieved that stronger grip, is to video your swing. Grab your iPhone and do a slow motion swing and see whereabouts your club face is at this point in your downswing. Okay, in a dream scenario, the leading edge, this club face, will be tilting inward slightly, okay, and it'll actually match my spine angle, which means as we walk that club through strike, the club face is going to be nice and square. Okay, so now I can get the grip in front, and I don't have to worry about heeling it or missing it too far to the right. So that's your job. 1, try and find 2 or 3 knuckles on that left hand. Hit a couple of shots and see how it feels. The strike should feel a bit neater if you're used to having an open club face. It'll just feel a bit more, it'll feel like it has a bit more power behind it, okay? Because it's less of like a, if the club face is too open, it's more of a glancing blow, if that makes sense. Whereas if my club face is perfectly square, there's a lot more energy saved in the strike rather than being lost. So that's job number 1. Get the grip and have a few shots and get used to how that feels. It's going to feel really weird, I promise you. And next is to have a few rehearsals, and at this point, if your club face is up, okay, that means your club face is too open. The key thing you're going to look for, at this point, if your knuckles look like they're upward, okay, you can see how much that opens my club face, that means that strike you're going to have to do a lot with the club face to get it square. What we're looking for at this point is to have a nice flat lead wrist, okay. You can see now my club face is more tilting down to the floor, which means at strike my hands can be a lot more passive. I don't have to work as hard to get my square club face, and therefore the strike will just feel so much simpler because there's less moving parts going on. So those are your 2 things. 1, double check your grip, and 2, double check the shaft parallel to the floor in the downswing. Is your club face pointing, is your leading edge too upright, or is it tilting down toward the floor slightly? And you'll see, to achieve those 2 differences, you'll see your left wrist has to change and either go from extension to flexion or the opposite. Okay, so give it a go. Let me know how you get on. I'm basically going to do a lot more follow-on videos to this, as we are in lockdown in the UK at the minute, so we've got a bit of time to focus on the technique rather than too much of the playing side of things. And so if you like the video, please hit the subscribe button and please like it for me. It would do me a massive favour, and I hope you enjoy the upcoming stuff. Take care, and I'll speak to you all soon.